Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to some professional Forged Alliance Forever, a high-level 2v2 played on the map Whitefire v2. But before we get into introducing our players, I would like to ask you to like and or subscribe to this video, or to my channel, whatever. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with these intros now, but whatever. Let's go ahead and get into introducing our players. Y'all are beautiful. Let's start it with Team 1 at the top. We're going to be starting with a purple Cybran, a 1800 rated, or no, 1900 rated player by the name of Shin. I guess he either plays League of Legends or it's just a happy quinkadink. I actually play a lot of Shin myself in League of Legends. But he's purple, he's Cybran, he's gone first land. Moving on to his ally, the ever so esteemed Grimplex. He is the champion, one of them at least, of the Dark Heart tourney that I hosted, and he's gone Seraphim. He's gone Seraphim first land, and then we can move on to Team 2, starting with the pink high-rated Aeon, going by the name of Hachamacha, going first land. And then over to the southeast, we have another Darkest Heart tourney champion. His name is Oricoko Rico, this time facing off against his former ally in that long tourney. And his name is Oricoko Rico, and he is gone first land. And with that, we have everybody introduced, and I don't know why I'm having so much trouble speaking today, but I'm going to cast anyways because that's what I do. We have, of course, the map. It's a heavily focused on Navy map. Like 80 to 90% of the map is water. We have 35,000 reclaim, large reclaim chunks in these T3 wrecked factories. I got some Aeon. I think they're all Aeon factories that are wrecked, so yes. And we also have a double Aeon team versus a Seraphim Cybran team, and I'm very excited about that. Aeon, gotta love them. Aeon's the best faction. Cannot convince me otherwise. Early on, we have a T1 bomber out from Shin. Let's go ahead and track its progress as it decides to fly across the map. It's going to be a Zeus, of course, as he is, of course, a Cybran. And with those electric bombs, going to be trying to bring the pain. A scout flying off ahead of him as he's going to beeline for the main base of Hachamacha. The match, of course, is an 87% rated match. It looks as though Grimplex and Shin are slightly behind in the ratings, so not quite considered a balanced game. I consider 90% and above balanced, but still high-rated players. There's really not much in between a 1800 and a 2000. They are I mean, I guess there is a lot between them, but it's very, very close still, so should still be a good match. And of course, some very good naval action. I can just talk about Navy stuff for a while. We have multiple bombs going down onto engineers out from this Zeus bomber, managing to get up 3 kills, about to hit a 4th and possibly 5th kill. Yep, 5 kills with that T1 bomber. We're going to be very, very happy with that. Is, of course, Shin, as he continues to get value on this bomb. We're going to turn on a dime to avoid getting killed by that interceptor. May even be able to shoot down the enemy interceptor that's chasing him, and he does manage it. 6 kills now onto this Team 1 bomber, really trying to set back Hachamacha, and doing quite a good job of it. The bomber now regenerating health very slowly, and possibly going to get even more done. Another bomb falling up to... did not manage to kill off that, but 7 kills on a T1 bomber, all of them onto engineers. That's going to be something that Shin can be very happy with. And other than that, the match has been pretty stagnant. Another bomber now out from Shin. He's going to continue this harassment campaign. He's going with the T1 air spam. And we have a lot of factories now being built up by Grimplex in the Navy. We also have factories out from Shin in the Navy. We have a naval factory now, of course, finished up for Hachamacha despite all of the engineer death. And, of course, the frigate now out for Hachamacha, heading towards the area controlled by Shin. And Grimplex looking to get a bit of a naval advantage as he's building up factories faster than his opponent. And he's about to have his first frigate come out, and he has more frigates on the way after that. And interceptors now making their way out to try and deal with Shin. Shin losing most of his air to the likes of Orokoko Rico's interceptors and the interceptors out from Hachamacha. And yeah, there's now multiple interceptors going down for both sides. I do believe that Team 2 is going to come out ahead on the interceptor war as Shin loses his last interceptor. He does have a bomber out now, though, and could use that to stunning effect against his opponents. At least if this bomber's anywhere near the same level of devastating as the first bomber was. We have some attempts at hover spam already out from Orokoko Rico, who's building some Aurora. Aurora, not the best hover spam unit T1, that would be the Zooey, but can definitely be useful in a pinch, can use it to kind of bolster the effectiveness of your frigates, because every time an enemy frigate fires on an Aurora and not your frigates, that's a win. Over here in the middle, we have a bit of naval engagement happening between a Trident and a frigate Beacon, I believe. Yeah, Beacon class frigate out from Hachamacha. Shin gonna be chased off. His frigate's gonna be dead relatively soon. Never realized how big the gun on that frigate is. It's like way bigger. It's way too big. It's comically big. The gun on the Trident. But it does manage to run away just enough to not be deadified by the enemy frigates. And it looks like Oroko's having some trouble keeping Grimplex out of his production lines. Manages to kill off an engineer who's building a factory. And this submarine's going to be paying itself off very kindly, as it does seem as though it's going to be useful for killing off all of this frigate spam coming into towards his base. And on the northern side of Hachamacha's base, we have two more Tridents showing up, trying to push back these beacons, trying to get in, trying to do damage, trying to keep the pressure on the highest rated player in the game. Of course, Hachamacha at 2100, the highest rated player, but the lowest rated player being 1800 is means it's a very high level match and a lot of minutia happening, a lot of very small moves that mean a lot. Whereas in most games, very small things don't really matter. It's the big picture that matters. In these games, it's definitely the micro level that it matters. Every single thing has to be done right, because your opponent's going to be doing every little thing right as well. You have multiple factories going up for every player. Orokoko Rico, I think, is having the most struggle with getting his factories online, of course, with the early aggression out from Grimplex, sending all of those frigates into his production line, stopping the production of new factories. Is going to hurt him a little bit, but now Grimplex showing up with a much larger force, and now he has more submarines than Orokoko Rico, so it's going to be very much so an uphill battle for our green Aeon player. On the other hand, Hachamacha, despite all of the early aggression, still doing quite well, still has up quite a few factories and has enough navy to push back Shin's navy. Shin's very ninja-like navy, coming up with tridents with their katanas and such. More references to League of Legends, of course. We have factories now under pressure. Looks like one of these factories may even go down for Orokoko Rico, and he needs to get something out to deal with this. Maybe even use the comm a little bit to try and walk it up onto land and get some overcharges off. Might be a good idea. But it just looks like Grimplex is kind of going to assert dominance over here. He's going to be able to get up at his own... He's going to be able to just destroy off all of this stuff. There's not enough here for Orokoko Rico to defend against Grimplex. And Grimplex and Orokoko, they, of course, are friends. They did participate in the Dark Heart tourney together. Of course, was a 2v2 tournament. But right now, Grimplex really just hammering down on Orokoko. And which is quite surprising, as Oroko is the highest rated player on the 2v2 team. Grimplex really rising up the ranks as of late, although I can't really give him too many compliments, because as anybody who's been a long time supporter of this channel knows, everybody I know that Grimplex has quite a big ego, and he's gonna be in the comments talking about how amazing he is right now. So go into the comments and everybody tell Grimplex something he did wrong this game, something you noticed. Just be like, this was wrong. Waiting for that Icy Nightmare comment that's like, Grimplex is scrub. Love your Grimplex. Alright. Orico now making efforts to get back into the Navy, and Hachamacha continuing to expand his naval presence. Has the most frigates on the field right now, I believe. It's either him or Grimplex. Grimplex sitting on 9 frigates, Hachamacha sitting on 18. So Hachamacha doing quite well in the naval game, and looking to press his advantage, looking to try and get some inroads towards the base of Shin. Shin doesn't have as many factories currently. Or he has the same number of factories, but he doesn't have a T2 factory yet. He's possibly about to start working on one. But T2 Navy has been achieved by Hachamacha. And really quick, we can look at the reclaim. 20,000 for Team 1 to 19,000 for Team 2. So both teams relatively even, reaching parity as far as reclaim numbers go. Overall economies, though, it looks as though Grimplex and Shin are both around 65 area of mass generation. Hachamacha behind them at 43, and Orokoko Rico at 50. So gonna be there's a definitely a advantage for Team 1, but right now Team 1 suffering a huge defeat as a ton of frigates out from Hachamacha make their way into the production line, kill off a ton of engineers, possibly maybe 20 engineers here go down, and they were trying to assist the factory in getting itself to produce units faster, and that was probably also the factory that Shin wanted to make T2, but now he's lost all those engineers, so gonna set back his production a little bit. But in return, Shin does manage to push off Hachamacha and kill off a lot of his frigates. Not all of them, but a decent amount. Frigates up here for Hachamacha, also trying to do the same thing over here to Grimplex. Not quite able to have the same level of success. Of course, Grimplex doing a lot better on the naval production than Shin is. We have T2 torpedo bombers now out for Orokoko Rico, the first player, I believe, to reach T2 air, and he's using that in his advantage to really put some pressure onto Shin with these torpedo bombers. I'm pretty sure torpedo bombers can kill off any Team 1 unit with 1 pass. I believe that's correct. Maybe it's 2 passes, but still. And a bunch of interceptors now fighting over the frigates of Hachamacha, and it looks as though Shin has lost a lot of his air power and is now behind. Down here on the southeastern side, we have T2 Navy finished up for Grimplex, and Grimplex is going to start putting pressure on to Orokoko Rico, and looks like he's going for a mass extractor, T2 mass extractor. There is, of course, T2 finished up, so tactical missile defense can be built, but is it going to be built in time is the question. We still have this engineer showing up trying to build some more. We have an engineer showing up now to build some tactical missile defense, and it does seem that it's going to get enough support, so a T2 mechs will not be killed right now, but instead the cruisers are just going to focus on the factories, start taking down Orokoko Rico's factories, and going to start kind of just whittling down his ability to fight off Grimplex. Grimplex looking to be in a strong position now. He has T2 Navy. He's at the same level of Navy as Hachamacha, and he's starting to produce these Seraphim cruisers with their tactical missile launchers. Is going to be able to really put pressure on the structures of Oroko from afar, and he still has a spam advantage, still has just more units out on the field compared to Oroko. Right now, Hachamacha trying to shore up the defenses of Oroko, trying to use his destroyers, the Exodus class, to some form of effect to stop Grimplex from just having a massive advantage down here in the southeastern corner. And it looks like Shin managed to make his way into the base of Hachamacha, but didn't get very much done. This Exodus class going to sit here and just blap away. Every time it shoots, a frigate's going to die. And there we go. Torpedoes now coming out from that Exodus class, going to be able to kill off the remaining hit points on that Trident. As it goes down, there's no more Tridents in the area. More units now going to be showing up for Shin to fight off the navy and structures of Hachamacha, try and keep him pinned in his base, but gonna need to be careful as he doesn't have T2 tech yet on any of his naval factories. He's gonna need it. He's not gonna be able to effectively trade with these destroyers for an extended period of time if he doesn't get up his own destroyers. The 2 destroyers down here for Hachamacha, both doing quite well for themselves, both getting double-digit kill. Well, this one doesn't, but pretty much double-digit kills on both of them. And still trying to defend Oriko, but Oriko just having struggles keeping factories alive. There's multiple units coming out from each side. Looking at the economies, Team 1 still has a mass generation advantage and overall has just gained more mass this game. Hachamacha really tryharding, really trying to keep himself in the Navy as long as possible, even trying to keep Oriko in the Navy. And Oriko just going with this mass torpedo bomber strat. He needs to kill off that cruiser, and he can. He has enough torpedo bombers right now to one past that cruiser, which is what you want to see. All of the torpedo bombers now coming out. Looks like Grimplex is going to start showing up with interceptors to try and kill off these torpedo bombers before they can drop their payload. I don't know how many are going to be able to drop their payload, but if it's not all of them, yeah, the cruiser's going to survive. It's going to survive with 800 HP, and it has veterancy, so it's going to start regenerating some of that health. And Grimplex is slowly but surely forcing Oriko to be a land-only player. He's not going to be able to continue to produce naval units here in just a matter of minutes. And Shin now putting pressure onto Hachamacha, going to be really straining the production of Hachamacha with him trying to defend both sides with destroyers. He still has a decent number of destroyers, but he really needs to get in here and defend. These are just frigates, but frigates are still able to kill off engineers just fine, and he needs this build power to keep producing Exodus at a quick pace. He needs Exodus, and he needs them fast, so he doesn't want to be losing all of these engineers and having to replace them. And the Trident's going to be able to do that quite well. I'm surprised the Tridents haven't been given a... What I like to do, and maybe it's inefficient because it's not very quick, but I like to grab all my frigates and spam right-click or press A and spam left-click on all of the engineers and then Shift G, so that way they shoot all the engineers. They kind of just all pick a different one, and they don't take very long to kill an engineer, so... kill off the engineers that way. We have these 2 Exodus class destroyers out from Hachamacha, still defending against Grimplex's frigates, but it looks as though he's going to be losing these destroyers very soon, and that's going to mean that Oriko is going to be pretty much alone against the navy of Grimplex. Once these 2 destroyers go down, there's another one in the area, but it looks like it's falling back towards the area controlled by Hachamacha, and now there's 4 destroyers over here after that incursion from Shin to try and destroy the naval factory, or the naval HQ, and its production. The 2 frigates have gone down. We have a T2 transport, which could be used for some kind of shenanigans, some drop shenanigans, and it was used for drop shenanigans. Is over here. Oh my god, I'm almost blind, but I didn't quite miss it. We have a large fervor drop now out from Orikoko Rico onto Grimplex's main base, and it's getting tons of damage done. How did I not see this happening? I am so blind. But Orikoko Rico managing to get a huge, deadly thrust into the economy of Grimplex. He's shoved that knife deep, and he's definitely making sure Grimplex feels the pain. As now Grimplex is in a rough spot. He was one of the leaders economically, but now he's down to 55 mass a second. When you're producing T2 naval units, that's not very much whatsoever. And on the other side, Hachamacha managing to clear up the navy of Shin and start getting into the main base, and now he's killing off all of the mass extractors of Shin. Shin going down to the likes of these destroyers, Exodus class coming into the neighborhood and destroying everything. And what the hell? I just checked this for desync. I just checked this replay for a desync. Why does it desync whenever I hit restart replay? Okay. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna come back. I'm gonna restart the replay. I'm gonna reopen it, and we're gonna come back at the 19-minute mark and watch it from there. I'm gonna double check everything. Sorry about this, technical difficulties. Alrighty everybody, we're back. We're just a couple of minutes before I checked again. It doesn't desync. I don't know why we got the desync pop up, but we're just a little bit before we paused, and we're going to go ahead and get back into it with a look at what's going on. We just had the drop land over here with the Fervors, and we can get a second look over here with the Exodus class destroyers. Let's just go ahead and track them. We'll watch their progress this time. We saw what happened on the other side, and hopefully nothing goes horribly wrong. We'll also speed it up a little bit while we wait to see if it's going to mess up on me again. Hopefully it won't. But the Exodus class destroyers moving forward going to be putting some damage into Shin, going to destroy off his factories, of course, and then they get focused on to the mass extractors, which is a painful sight indeed for our purple Cybran player. Shin gonna need to come up with a solution to this quick. He's gonna need to push these Exodus back, which does look like he's gonna be able to do with his naval force coming in behind the Exodus classes, but also gonna need to come up with a strategy to really stop this from happening again, because the destroyer production now out from Hachamacha is gonna be kind of a issue that has to be addressed. Like, it's just too much at this point. Orokoko Rico now huddled in his base, not even trying to get back into the Navy, but that drop managing to put back Grimplex, and the aggression out from Hachamacha able to put back Shin just enough to where Hachamacha and Oroko have a mass generation advantage, I believe. They're producing slightly more mass a second on average, which means for the first time in this game they have an economic advantage, and they'll be able to maybe leverage that into something more. Exodus class destroyers trying to sandwich this force out from Shin, but Shin has a very large force. It isn't as high tech. It's 5 destroyers versus a bunch of frigates and 2 destroyers, but frigates pretty effective at killing off destroyers whenever they are whenever there's destroyers present for your team. They're able to kind of get in there. It's every second that your destroyers are firing on frigates, it's a second that they're not firing on the enemy destroyers. It's just really good. That's what frigates do. They kind of just tank for you. They just take hits that your other more important ships wouldn't need to. It takes hits for them. I cannot speak today. Something is wrong. I know. Man, this game is so beautiful. Such a beautiful game. We have another drop attempt out from Oroko. Not really going to work. Oroko and Hachamacha still trying very hard to win this match. They've been behind. They still don't have that much map presence, but they were able to deal some very devastating blows to the economies of Shin and Grimplex, and that means that there's going to be less units producing for a short amount of time. Their economies have been relatively untouched by all of the aggression out from their opponents, so the Aeon players still in a rough position, but not as bad as it was just a couple of minutes ago. And the destroyer spam out from Hachamacha really paying dividends at the moment. While Grimplex... Did anybody get a single comm upgrade, by the way? Has that been a thing? Nobody's gotten a comm upgrade. Which is interesting to me. Not one comm upgrade. Usually you see at least one in every game. Even in 1v1s, it's rare to see no comm upgrades. But there are destroyers and frigates now trying to chase down the destroyers out from Hachamacha. Hachamacha gonna need to deal with this. We have some torpedo bombers coming in from Oroko to try and help ease the pain being inflicted by Grimplex. And there's a ton of interceptors now coming out for Shin and Grimplex, trying to chase down the T2 transport of Oroko. But Oroko, the T2 transport, is faster than interceptors. It may be able to drop in time. Is it going to be able to? No, it's not. It was hopeful, but did not happen. as the Team 1 players rebuild their economies and put on pressure. We're looking like we're back into the situation we were in not very long ago, with Team 2 really needing to find a solution to the naval spam out from Grimplex and Shin. Oriko being unable to produce Navy, which he's finally stepping back into the Navy, but him being unable to for such a long time really set him back and made it difficult for him to really do anything in this match. We have a ton of destroyers still out on the field for Hachamacha, and he's still just constantly producing more. Economically, he's not really going to T3 mexes as far as I can see, so he's really banking on having enough destroyers very soon to really just set back Grimplex and Shin. Now he has destroyers here in the middle, focusing on the economy built up here by Shin or by Grimplex on this forward island. Kills off a T2 mass extractor, which is significant. Overall on reclaim, Team 2 still slightly behind on reclaim, but on overall mass generation, these teams relatively even. Does seem as though Hachamacha and Oriko are now having the better of the economic situation. 75 mass a second and 28 as he's in a horrible mass stall. Oriko needs to deal with this mass stall right now. He's getting a T2 power generator, so he's trying to address the issue, but still needs to focus on various things. I can't speak. I can't think. What the fuck is wrong with me? You know what? Let's just watch pretty things. We have destroyers pushing forward for Hachamacha towards the base of Shin. Yet again, gonna be going for some kind of long-range pain infliction. Man, all of these shots flying out from Hachamacha, killing off a lot of stuff. Did that kill off a factory? I don't think it killed off a factory. No, it hasn't killed off a factory yet, but more mass extractors and more power generators going down. Shin gonna be in a very difficult spot now. He just doesn't have the Navy to really challenge this. He just doesn't have the destroyer count or the T2 unit count to deal with this. And Grimplex, while he has a very strong Navy and he's pushing in towards the backside of Hachamacha's naval production, I don't think there's enough here to really just kill off Hachamacha. He is getting a lot of damage done onto the economy of Hachamacha. They're starting to get some inroads towards the base of it, but Hachamacha by himself is able to really cripple Shin right now. I'm sure Shin is probably going to start having issues with his economy soon, and his production is going to be non-existent once these Exodus get in range of this T2 HQ. They're all going to be able to focus it down very quickly with those high alpha damage long-range guns. And Hachamacha really just dismantling Shin. Shin now pretty much out of the game, and other than his naval forces, he doesn't really have much left. He still has some economy, but it's not going to mean much when destroyers are this much enforced right around your base. And now the destroyers out from Hachamacha moving in towards Grimplex. Going to be able to kill off Grimplex's forward economy and possibly going to be able to get in here and deal some damage to Grimplex's base. You of course have Oriko trying to get back into the naval game, building a lot of factories which are going to tank a lot of damage, and Shin says, well, you can blame me, and Control K is seemingly upset. And with that, and with this happening for Grimplex's production, I think that this is game. Grimplex just unable to keep up with the production that Hachamacha went for. And Shin kind of, after that bomber play, I don't know if it set him behind in the Navy, but he just kind of didn't have a grasp on the Navy. So despite being in a very strong position most of the game, Grimplex and Shin, I think, are going to go down. Grimplex's comeback here. I don't know if that's within range of the destroyers, but if it were, be what you'd focus on. Looks like it was full share, so maybe Grimplex has a chance. Grimplex pushing in on the south side, but there's already a huge number of destroyers. Destroyers being pumped out so quickly by Hachamacha. Just watch. 1 second. This is going to be the thumbnail. The power of production, my friends. The power of production. This is what won the game. Being able to just spam out shit. The destroyer is possibly going to be able to kill off the, no. Grimplex taps it out. He control Ks. And with that, the end of our match. Thank you all for watching. You all are beautiful. I wish I was better at speaking, but I'm not. So, yeah. Thank you to my patrons. Timothy Calderwood, Sergeant Syphilis. Timothy Calderwood, Sergeant Syphilis, Icy Nightmare, Nogthar, Idle Bazoid, Mutant Gene Pool. And then the other one is like, it's 4 letters. It's like DTVA, I think? Or something like that. I don't know. It should be in the credit roll screen. I can't remember names to save my life. You all are beautiful. Like, subscribe. Tell me your favorite sandwich. Bye-bye!